Hi guys, hope everyone is doing well. I've not done a video for a while, but I have been buying some items and I have picked up some interesting stuff actually, to be honest. So I thought without further ado, I'll show you what I picked up. So I went to an antique fair with my dad and I bought 3 items. I bought this wonderful solid silver little temple. I believe it's is it a salt shaker? I think you put the salt in there and then you close it. I think it's made of sterling silver, so it's not British. And then the holes above, you shake it. But it's in the form of a little Chinese temple. I think it's had a good whack on this end, so it's sort of collapsed in a little bit. So it's got a bit of character to it. But I think it's kind of a funky little thing, you know, little salt shaker, salt, whatever you call it. But it's got the little holes there, and I thought it was rather cool. So I thought I'd give that a home. So I bought that, quite a nice little item. And then I bought 2 keys. I bought this one, which is a double-ended key, an early one, I'd say maybe 200 years old or so, which is quite nice. And then I bought this key here, which is a medieval key, which is pre-1400s. So it's at least 600 years old, this key. It's a very primitive key with a very simple latch without the finer detail. It's forged, and I thought it was rather cool. And you don't see very many medieval keys. I do have a few keys, and I'm quite fond of them, you know, but they're usually a bit finer and a bit more pronounced. But this one here is very, very primitive. And it's got quite a primitive look to it. I thought it was quite nice. Yeah, so a medieval key and probably a Georgian key. It's got some pitting on this side, but you don't see too many double-ended keys. So I always buy them if they're reasonable. And I thought the seller was quite reasonable, so I decided to give it a home. I went with my wife for a nice day out in... where was it? In Bakewell, which is famous for a Bakewell tart. And in an antique shop, I bought this 1500s Tudor lock, which is a very primitive lock. It was found by a mudlarker, so it's all rusted up. And I paid a lot of money for this little padlock. But at the time, I've never seen a round padlock before. This is very early, circa, I don't know, 300 to 500 years old at the very latest, possibly German, but very, very cool nonetheless. And I thought that was a nice thing. It wasn't much to buy, and it was quite a fine antique shop, to be honest. So there wasn't much to buy smalls. It was mostly furnitures, but very cool. And then on eBay, talking about mudlarking, I bought this off a mudlarker. And it's a wrench hammer badge, which was found. The guy only sells things he found in the mud, so he's dug this up, and it's an old wrench badge, and I thought that was rather cool. Little wrench hammer. It's a very primitive hammer and an early wrench, circa 1860s, 1880s at the latest. Very nice little badge. Not sure what it was for. Probably to represent some kind of trade, but very cool. So I bought that little thing, and then I bought this off eBay, which I think my good friend who finds absolutely everything for me, Michael, he may have found this from memory. It's a little key ring with a little vice in it, probably circa 1980s, 70s, but a very, very cool little key ring. Let's go through Michael's find, shall we? Michael found this, which, in fact, I think Michael's found everything, basically. He found this wonderful stamp, and I do have a few stamps which are tool-related. This one's like a caliper. This one was not tool-related, like a little gun. This one is a little hammer, and this one is a bicycle. I have a few, and I've never printed them before. So I thought I'd have a go at printing them. So this one is the spanner, and this is quite a nice spanner. This is a Palmer and Sons design spanner, and that's the bicycle. That's the hammer. I did the hammer a few times, and the calipers. I've got some other calipers and penny farthings, feeler gauges, and some other agricultural tools. So I thought that was quite fun to actually try and print one, but the actual wrench comes out quite good, I thought. Bit of fun. So yeah, that's interesting. Michael also found this wrench here on eBay. I did have one of these and I swapped it. It was a bit nicer condition, and I swapped it with a chap in Australia for a couple of British wrenches, and I was very pleased to do so. So it was nice to replace the one I'd actually swapped. It's quite an unusual wrench, with having mechanisms to adjust the wrench, the pipe wrench, the spanner, and it's got the brace and bit action. Kind of a cool American design. So that was quite good. Michael also found this tiny, I couldn't believe the size of it. I thought it was this size. They're all about that size. And this one is absolutely tiny. And it says John Bull Painted Metals, strong steel, wrought iron. This is sample, try and break me, product of Mason. This is very common, and I assumed it was just a different manufacturer of the same type, but it's not. It's absolutely tiny. I think it's absolutely wonderful. What a fine miniature anvil. So I was super pleased with that one. It was a great surprise when I found the size of that one out. I also found this. I think I found this all on my own. This is a brass backhoe type spanner, but it's made in Denmark, and it's beryllium copper, Bu, which is toxic, non-magnetic for sort of industrial uses. So you obviously, it's not going to get caught in a big magnet, or is it going to spark in anything which is flammable or any sort of set. So it's a very expensive tool, and it looks to be NOS to me. I don't think it's ever been used, but very cool. So I'll add that to the beryllium copper drawer later. I'll show you, which was nice. And then certainly last but not least, I bought this, which Michael found as well, and it appears to be a German. I don't know if you can see, it's got a stamp there, very cool. It's like a ninja stamp, and it's got a manufacturer, and it's a German manufacturer, Rheinstein, and it's got obviously it's got a wrench at the end, it's got the bar what goes through it, and also it's got the spanner, and I've never seen it. All fits quite nicely in the toolkit, and then the lid obviously goes down and covers it up, and quite a nice little set it is. And it wasn't a lot of money either. I also bought one more item which I'm quite pleased about, and I bought it today, and this is a rule, boxwood rule, rather fine. It's a 1 inch all the way to 48 inches, so it's a 4-foot rule. It's got all sorts of measurements around it, different sizes, inches, meters, feet, yardsticks, and it's got a lovely patina, really nice, and the price of it was unbelievable. It's even got a brass end to it to protect it, and I bought with it from the same seller. I bought this Jaguar spanner. I think Alex wants this one because of the price I paid, and I paid £15 for the two. And now anybody can sell a Jaguar bicycle spanner and this wonderful boxwood rule for that money and make a profit. I don't know, but it was very reasonable. So it was £7.50 for this wonderful rule, and I can keep it at the side and I can use it to measure the length. So this one is a 10 inch, so it's really useful, and I can measure things easily. Often this is a 9 inch key usually. And how is this? This is a 2 1/4 inch anvil. So usually I put these little metal ones and then they fall somewhere and I lose them, and when I look for them I'm struggling to find a measure. But now I've got a proper nice yardstick with inches on it, which is just what I like. So that was a steal, I thought, and I was quite pleased with that. So quite an interesting bunch of junk. Let's get a couple of these items put away and then we'll call it a day. So I thought I'd put my little silver Japanese type dwelling salt shaker here. I thought it's quite nice. I quite like looking at it, so I think I'll put it there for now. So I have some brass sort of anvils. I have more on the other side, but I think we'll put this tiny little one up here on the shelf. I think it's the finest small anvil I've ever found. Very, very, very cool indeed. So I was quite pleased with that one. So we've got some keys. We've got 2 drawers of keys, and we've got this medieval key, which is quite fine, I think. And then we've got this rather nice small double-ended key. So quite a nice addition to one of my key drawers. So we've got a few padlocks in this drawer, and I think we can put this very early little padlock in that padlock drawer. I think it's a bit thick to put in my little drawers, so it'll live there for now. So I have my Palmer and Sons drawer, and as you can see, we've got this Palmer and Sons stamp, and I think it's a nice addition to the Palmer and Son. This is the same design. I currently have 7 of those sizes, and 7 of this size, and 4 of this wonderful, very early primitive size, the first design. So a nice addition to the Palmer collection. I'm quite pleased with that. So we've got my miniature drawer here, and I think this tiny little wrench thing can probably live in there. But we've got my smaller items drawer, you know, little tools, and I think that's a nice addition to that drawer, if I don't say so myself. Right, so we've got some wrenches in here, and I think this is not a bad drawer to stick the new American wrench with a few other American designs in it. So I think I'm going to put this nice little multi-tool in its original box, shut the lid and put it with this boxed tools. So that's a nice addition. Right, let's go over to the shed and take a look. Right guys, so we're getting to the end of the video. We've got this wonderful brass beryllium copper wrench, a nice addition. So I think that's a 10-inch and this is an 8-inch, very similar. And then we've got the Amco, Telco, Barco. So we've got some interesting designs in the beryllium copper drawer, so nice addition. And then over here, last but not least, I've just visited Alex in the Netherlands and spent some time in Amsterdam and his hometown, which is really good. So I took his items, so there's nothing actually left, just this little Barco to go to start off his drawer again. So nice addition. All right, if anyone's got this far, thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.